I want to introduce to you. Christina has worked her way over here along with her husband Paul Jayasingh, and they are just a dynamic duo here because it's not only Christina's music, but also their ministry, missions ministry called Christ for All Ministries in India. Thank you both for coming on Bay Focus today. Great to have you, Christina. When I was introduced to your music, and before we even get talking to you, I want to tell our viewers too. This is from Christina Paul's latest CD called Lord of All. The music you're hearing today, I think, predominantly is from this CD. Yeah. And wow, it is, I've been listening to it in my car. There's just not a single song that isn't worship. I mean, you know, sometimes, Christina too, and I know that has to be intentional, sometimes music is variety, a little bit more of just performance oriented, or, well boy, every single one of your songs just take you into the presence of the Lord. And I have to think that's intentional. Tell me a little bit about, because you write your music, so when you put this album together and some of your other works, what's the message behind your music?
Okay, every song in this album is coming from the quiet time of the Lord. So if you take off all of the songs, you know, Lord of All is just grand worship, you know, for the mighty God He is, and He has been what He has been in my life, and He has been my everything, and He has come through, and He has met my needs many times, many ways, you know, as I'm singing in verse 2, and it's just every song, Never Let Me Go, and Beat of My Heart, and all of these songs is just I've written and composed these songs when I went through some stuff in my life. Like my daughter had neutropenia disease when she was 6 months old, and you know, God healed her, and He is dear and near to my heart. So there is not one day that goes by without me spending time with Him. Up in my game room, that's my prayer area. I go there, lock myself, and put worship music.
And that's where it comes.
Exactly. That's where it comes. And Never Let Me Go is another expression. It's like, I want God to be walking with me hand in hand throughout my life. Never let go of me. Don't put me in a position where I might drift away from you. Not even for a single moment. Yeah. I don't want that. So it is just my prayer.
The music is an outgrowth of your own worship.
Yes.
To the Lord.
Yes.
So that just makes it so much more poignant to me when I'm listening to know that this is just something that the Lord pours into you in your own prayer time. And all right, now one of the things I want to mention too, that in our viewers, that you're very active, because I like to highlight here in the community, you're active at Victory Church in Lakeland, and involved in the music there too. And I think that's so important that you have that grounding in a fellowship and in a ministry. But you guys originally are from India, and you came here, and you're 7 generations, and literally your great-great-great-grandfather, something like that, had a dramatic conversion.
That's right.
From a missionary that came to India.
That's right.
So can you tell us a little bit of your testimony, and then I want to talk more about what you're doing.
So my great-great-grandfather was a Hindu. He was a Hindu priest in a Hindu temple. And long story short, he had many kids. They were affected by an illness called cholera. And that killed most of his kids. And the British missionary came and told him about Christ, and that's when my grandfather, you know, prayed with the British missionary for the other 2 kids that was also affected with the disease. So, and then God healed them, and that was this turning point in his life, and he left everything for Christ, to follow Christ.
That's huge, from being a Hindu priest.
Yes.
And then all the generations now have continued to serve the Lord.
That's right.
And now of course you're here in the U.S. and also Paul, you're from India. I just think it's sometimes interesting for our viewers. You're from different parts in India, or same area, or what? How that?
We are from different cities, but we are probably like 3-4 hours away.
Yeah. Okay. And how long have you all been in the U.S.?
I've been here for 17 years. Probably a little over 20 years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you've grew up, basically, your children in India grew up on that line. Okay, but you've not forgotten India at all. I mean, there's it's got a big part of your heart. Paul, why don't you tell us about how you decided to get involved and start this missions work, and a little bit of the history of it and what you do for Christ for All Ministries in India.
So, Darlene, a few years back, back in 2010, both of us felt that God wanted us to start a missionary organization in India. We were supporting organizations till then, but at that point, we felt that God really wanted us to go out and start one. So we called one brother of ours, Christian brother of ours, Reverend John Kribagaran. He's got 30 plus years in missions work in India. So we called him and we told him this is what we feel that God's putting in our hearts. So we prayed about it for about a period of 6 months. And then we got true confirmation from God that this is what we want to do. See, India is a country where we have 7.24 billion people. And out of that, anywhere between 5 to 7% are Christians. So Indians are great people, they're very friendly, they're very loving. And then to imagine that if Christ were to come today, that billions of people from India would go to hell is a shocking thing. And that's the reason we started this ministry, and we've seen a lot of people accept the love of Christ through this ministry.
So, okay, I have to tell you, I'm impressed on how you just had this desire to start it, and God kept speaking to you, and you just did it. I mean, you're doing it from here, from the U.S. and coordinating with others. What actually do you do over there? What are some of the ways that you are reaching people? And is it church services? Is it providing assistance? What are you doing?
We have about 31 missionaries there, Darlene. And the
missionaries that are there, like from India?
They are, yeah.
They're Indian. Okay.
They're Indians. They are people who actually were born there, who lived in those communities.
That's the most effective kind.
And what they do is they actually show the love of Christ to their neighbors. They have a prayer cell. They bring in people. They have a weekly prayer cell.
Small groups.
Small groups.
Okay, small groups.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so that's where it starts from. And so literally these 30 missionaries over there are just fanning out into cities, neighborhoods.
And the most of the missionaries are in the northern parts of India, because disciple Thomas, doubting Thomas, he came to India to spread the gospel. So that's why you see southern part of India is all Christians. Most of them, like a lot of Christians you would see, are concentrated in the southern part of India. So northern parts of India, we don't have any way of spreading the gospel, but through missionaries. So that's the reason many organizations are there, missionary organizations, including ours, and we all send missionaries over to northern parts of India to spread the gospel. So they reach out to the local people and speak in their dialect, learn their language, and speak in their dialect, and then go and, people are hungry for God.
That was my question. Are they coming to these small groups? Are people?
Yes, they do.
And the amazing part, Darlene, is that a lot of miracles happen. When our missionaries pray for people, a lot of miracles happen. Like I just got a testimony from them that a person with brain fever, she got healed. So all her family accepted Christ, and the whole village heard of that testimony. And we hear a lot of testimonies like that. That's the amazing part.
Oh, wow.
God is truly living, and He's working miracles.
That is real ministry to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's no spotlight, nothing. You just go there and you work in the fields and win souls for Christ.
That's right.
So that's really something.
This is right on the one-on-one with people.
That's right.
I mean, you are directly working with them. Okay, you alluded to, we're going to show some more opportunities for you, give you some more opportunities to sing on the program. But heading into that, you mentioned the multiple languages, and you're going all the different languages, and India is full of all these different languages, which is actually a little bit new to me. I'd always knew of Hindi, but speaking of multiple languages, I heard you slip into Spanish in one of your songs, and you also do record albums in Indian. That's literally a language, Indian, for part of India.
Yeah.
So. How multilingual are you? I mean, it's, and why this? I have to say the Spanish, because are you trying to reach? That's a great story. You have to tell the Spanish story.
Well, Beat of My Heart, the song so happened that it has the vibe of the Latin vibe there. So one of my, I have a lot of Spanish friends. So one of my dear friends said, hey, you should throw in a little Spanish chorus there. And she translated the lyrics for me, and she wrote it in. We just Yeah.
I think it's very cool. That's the next song we're going to have you do, is "Beat of My Heart," and I think it's when I heard it on the CD. You know, I'm listening to the CD in my car, and I'm going, "Is that Spanish?" I was going, "I can't believe I'm hearing Spanish. I know they're from India," but I thought that is so great. She's doing all these different languages, but you do have projects. There's a large population here in the Tampa Bay area of people from India. You have a variety of. So, do you ever reach out into some of the local community here as well? You have opportunities to share?
Well, we have a small group that we host in our house. So
Okay,
one small
great.
group is from Victory Church. So, but we reach out to the neighbors around, and we have an Indian fellowship also. So as Indians, we get together.
That's great.
And yeah, we sing in our own native language and worship. So that is something really special.
Oh yeah, and now in terms of your music too, you write all your own music. We've already talked about that. But have you been singing since a child? I mean, has this been something you've always done?
Yes, I've been singing. My parents are recording artists, Christian recording artists, and they are actually music ministers.
Oh, okay.
So I
Well, that
toured
explains
around.
it.
Yeah, I toured around with them in India.
Yeah.
So went to a lot of places. And my mom writes the songs, and my father composes the music.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
terrific. Well, I will say vocally you are excellent, because I'm listening and I'm hearing some of there's some difficult vocal moves can be. You do some things up and down the scale and, running, and God has blessed you, and I know that you get it naturally from your parents now too. Well, all right, we're going to hear some more of your music for the remainder of this show. So I want to thank you both for sitting down and talking with us, and love to see husband-wife teams working together. So stay tuned. We're going to be back in just a moment. You are going to want to take a look at some information on how you can contact Christina Paul as well. That's coming up next, and how you can reach out to her. You can find her music on her website's really user-friendly, I call it that, and there's a variety of ways. I think Facebook too, but also you can find her videos, and just a tremendous way, and also involved at Victory Church, like I said. So if you're looking for a good church and some good music, that's a place to go to. So we'll be right back with some more music from Christina, but here's how you can contact Christina Paul.
To book music artist Christina Paul for a ministry event, please call 813-766-8961. That number again, 813-766-8961. Or send an email to booking@christinapaul.com. You can find out more about Christina's ministry at christinapaul.com and on Facebook.